My parents told me to put my house under their name for legal reasons, and then gave it to my brother as a wedding gift. I honestly don't even know where to begin. I've been crying on and off for 3 days and I still feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare. I never thought my parents would do something like this to me. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for by posting this. Maybe validation, maybe advice, or maybe I just need to get this off my chest because I feel like I'm going to explode. I bought a house 2 years ago. I grew up in a pretty conservative immigrant family where everything is about family loyalty, respecting your elders, and trusting that your parents always know best. I was the responsible kid growing up, the one who got good grades. Worked part-time in high school, didn't party, never got into trouble. I put myself through college with scholarships and side jobs. After graduating, I spent years working and saving. I didn't go on trips, didn't splurge, didn't move out even though I desperately wanted to. I just saved. Eventually, I had enough for a modest down payment. I found a small fixer-upper in a quiet neighborhood, not perfect but within my budget. I was so proud, I felt like I had made it. But right before closing, my parents sat me down and started telling me all these things about how dangerous it was to put the house under my name because I still had some student loan debt, nothing crazy, but enough, and that if I ever got sued or went bankrupt or whatever, the government could take the house. My dad has always had this weird paranoia about the system and used it to justify all sorts of strange decisions, so I wasn't entirely surprised. What did surprise me was how insistent they were. They said it would be safer if we put the house under their name for now, and once my financial situation was more stable, we'd transfer it back. I pushed back. I mean, it sounded sketchy even then, but they got offended, like I didn't trust them. My mom cried. My dad said I was being ungrateful and disrespectful. I caved. I just didn't have the energy to fight them. And honestly, a part of me believed they were looking out for me. So we closed on the house. The title went under their name. I paid for everything, the down payment, the mortgage, renovations, furniture, bills. Not a single cent came from them, but fine. I thought it's just paperwork. Everyone knows it's my house. Flash forward to last weekend. My younger brother, 26 meters, just got married. I have a complicated relationship with him. He's the golden child. My parents have always babied him. He dropped out of college, has bounced around jobs, and still lives at home, or did, until now. I've always been expected to understand him, to help out, to give him grace because he's still finding his way. Whatever, the wedding was fine. I didn't love that it was super lavish and expensive, especially considering my parents have been telling me for years that we can't afford to help me with anything. But I was genuinely trying to be happy for him. Then came the reception. During the speeches, my dad gets up to give this long, emotional toast. He starts talking about the importance of family, of building a future, of supporting your children. Then he says, and as a special gift to brother and Sil, your mother and I are giving you a house, your first home to build your life together in. Cue applause. People are cheering. My brother is fake surprised and emotional, and I'm sitting there frozen, thinking, no, no way. I excused myself, stepped outside, and started texting my friend who works in real estate. I asked her to look up the property records for my address. She calls me an hour later to confirm. The deed had been transferred a few weeks ago from my parents' name to my brother's. They didn't even tell me. They didn't ask. They just gave it away. The house I bought, the house I lived in, my home. I confronted my parents the next day. I was shaking. I could barely get the words out. And all they did was double down. My dad said, "You'll be fine. You're smart. You'll bounce back." My mom said, "Your brother needs this more than you do. He's starting a family." When I said that I bought that house with my money, my dad actually laughed and said, "You wouldn't have been able to buy it without our help." What help? The help where they pressured me into putting it in their name and then stole it. They're now acting like I'm the one being selfish. They said I should be happy for my brother, that I'm lucky to have had a home for 2 years rent-free, and that this is what family does, we support each other. I've hired a lawyer, but because the house was never in my name, and there's no written agreement or proof that I was the true owner, there may not be much I can do legally. I'm still moving forward with it just in case, but my lawyer warned me it'll be an uphill battle. I don't even know what to do now. I feel betrayed. I feel stupid. I keep blaming myself for being so naive. I don't know if I can ever forgive them. I don't know if I even want to be part of this family anymore. And my brother? He hasn't even reached out. Not a single word. He just took it like it was his by right. I'm staying with a friend right now while I figure things out. I've lost everything I worked for, 2 years of mortgage payments, sweat, effort gone, because I trusted my family. If anyone's been through something like this, how do you survive it? How do you move on when the people you're supposed to trust the most are the ones who destroy you? First update. Hi again, Reddit. I wasn't planning to post a follow up, but so many of you reached out, commented, and supported me on my original post, and honestly, your words helped carry me through some of the worst days I've ever had. I've been working through a lot legally, emotionally, mentally. It's been about 2 months now, and while things are far from better, I do have some updates. Here's what's happened. I hired a lawyer immediately after discovering what happened. We reviewed everything, the property documents, my bank statements, texts with my parents, and anything else that might prove the house was mine in all but name. Unfortunately, my lawyer was right from the start. It was going to be an uphill battle. Because I voluntarily agreed to put the house under my parents' name and didn't have any formal contract or agreement in writing stating that the house was only being held for me, the court views it as a legal gift or transfer of property. No fraud, no coercion, just terrible judgment on my part. We explored a possible civil suit under a claim of a constructive trust, a legal theory where someone is unjustly enriched at another's expense, but my lawyer said it would be extremely hard to prove and cost more than I could justify, especially since the house was already fully transferred to my brother. I had documentation of all the payments I made, down payment, mortgage payments, renovations, everything. And while that definitely helped support my side of the story, without anything binding, the law basically says, you gave it away. Even if emotionally that's not what happened, legally, it was a done deal. So, in short, I lost the house. My lawyer said I could keep pushing, but I've decided not to. It was draining me financially and emotionally, and I need to focus on rebuilding. After I confronted my parents and they doubled down, I went no contact. That's a sentence I never thought I'd write. I was raised in a family over everything. Environment. The idea of cutting off your parents was unthinkable. Until it wasn't. I blocked their numbers, stopped visiting, and told mutual family members that I needed space. I did hear through the grapevine that my mom has been telling everyone that I moved out on my own to make space for my brother's new family, like it was a sacrifice I willingly made. I've been painted as selfish and ungrateful. Some extended relatives have called me to guilt trip me, but most thankfully stayed out of it. As for my brother, he's never reached out, not once. No apology, no explanation, no attempt to make things right. He moved in with his wife and they're living happily in my house. I've come to terms with the fact that he likely knew all along and just didn't care. I've removed him from my life as well. Therapy has helped a lot. I started seeing a therapist weekly after everything went down, and she's been walking me through the grief and betrayal, because that's what this feels like, grief. I lost more than a house. I lost my sense of safety, trust, and the idea that my parents would always have my back. There are still days I wake up feeling hollow, like all the effort I put into building that life was for nothing, but I'm trying to be kind to myself. I made a mistake, a big one, but it came from a place of love and trust, and that's not something I should be ashamed of, even if others abused it. Where I am now, I'm staying in a rented apartment with a roommate while I save up again. It's small and humble, but it's mine. I don't let anyone else have access to the lease or payments. I make copies of every document. I've become borderline paranoid with boundaries, but maybe that's not such a bad thing anymore. I'm slowly starting to feel proud of myself again, not because of the house I bought, but because I survived losing it and still kept going. I didn't fall apart. I didn't retaliate or do anything vindictive. I just walked away. That took strength I didn't know I had. I'm building again, this time more carefully. I may not own a house right now, but I've gained something else. The freedom to live without manipulation, guilt, and control. That's something I'm learning to value more than square footage. Thank you to everyone who commented or messaged me after my first post. Your words made me feel less alone when I needed it most. If anyone's reading this and going through something similar, you are not stupid for trusting your family. It says something good about you, and what they did says everything about them. Second update. The legal route didn't work, but it gave me something better. As I mentioned before, I consulted a lawyer. It looked grim: no written agreement, no contract. The house was in my parents' name legally. My lawyer said it would be incredibly hard and expensive to win in court. But I didn't drop it. Instead, I got strategic. My lawyer suggested that while we couldn't outright sue for ownership, we could go after them for unjust enrichment, especially since I had receipts for every single dollar I spent, the down payment, Mortgage payments, repairs, renovations, even the utility bills, all under my name, all traceable. So that's what we did. We filed a lawsuit not for the house, but for every cent I put into it, plus interest. The total came to just under 160,000. Now, my parents freaked out not because they cared about doing the right thing, but because they had refinanced their own house a few years back and weren't in a position to take on a financial hit. And here's the kicker, they had never told my brother the full truth. During the legal proceedings, my lawyer subpoenaed communication records and filed a discovery request for financial docs, bank statements, emails, texts. That's when my brother found out I had paid for everything and they had lied to him. Apparently, he'd been told the house was a family investment that they had bought, and I had just lived there for a while. He hadn't even thought to question it, but when he saw the evidence, the transfer dates, the payments, my name on every utility and mortgage record, let's just say it didn't go over well. He showed up at my apartment, furious not at me, but at them. His wife was there too. She was quiet, but you could tell she was beyond uncomfortable. Apparently, they had just taken out a small loan to furnish and remodel a kitchen I had already paid to redo 2 years ago. I felt zero sympathy. About 6 weeks ago, my parents settled. They agreed to pay me $135,000 over the course of a year in structured payments. Why settle? Because during discovery, my lawyer uncovered that they had underreported income on past taxes, not criminal level stuff, but enough that it could have caused them major headaches with the IRS if exposed during a full trial. We never had to use that card, but it was in our hand. They also agreed to put in writing that I was the primary financier of the property and that they had transferred ownership to my brother without compensation. It doesn't give me the house back, but it's a public document now. It lives in court records. And yes, I've since filed a report with the IRS for good measure. My parents are furious with me. My mother cried and called me cold and calculating. My father said I'd ruined the family's name. They've been publicly shamed within our extended family, not by me, but because the documents are right there. The story got out, quietly but completely, my brother and I. We're not friends, but we're civil. He apologized, not deeply, but enough to acknowledge that what happened was wrong and that he should have asked more questions. He's stuck in that house now, which he doesn't seem to want anymore. His wife doesn't even post pictures of it online, probably too ashamed. I moved out of that city. Found a new job. I'm renting a cozy little townhouse that I love. I'm rebuilding. And you know what? I'm in a better position now than when I bought the original house. I may have lost a property, but I exposed liars, stood up for myself, and reclaimed my dignity. And I did it without screaming, without begging, without going low. I played the long game. Revenge doesn't always look like fire and fury. Sometimes it's paper trails, quiet settlements, and walking away richer, financially and emotionally. Thanks for believing me when I barely believed in myself.
What an interesting story. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe even share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching or listening to the story. This was Red the Teller.